Imagine a shadowy world where manipulation lurks in the most unsuspecting corners, where the term, gaslighting, originated not from mere suspicion, but from a chilling tale of psychological torment. Dive into the depths of dark psychology, where understanding human behavior takes on a sinister twist. But fear not, for knowledge is your shield against manipulation. Watch closely as the intricate web of control by governments, families, and organizations unravels before your eyes, empowering you to reclaim autonomy over your life. And in the realm of cybercrime, don't hesitate to call upon the guardians of justice to thwart those who seek to deceive and exploit. Your journey towards empowerment begins now. Apart from this, many software and applications can recognize faces on popular social media sites like Instagram and Facebook. It is a fact that emotional pains rarely heal. If you don't do anything about it, these pains can form a nasty scab like other wounds, making the memory as painful for you as it was when it was happening to you. When you think of dark psychology, the only thing that comes to your mind is that someone committed a crime. But in reality, it also includes many things that we may not consider appropriate but have become socially acceptable. We see these dark psychology activities in our homes, schools, offices, and online. For clarity, let us look at some real-life case studies. Love is truly a beautiful thing. When you enter a relationship with someone, you expect that person to love and care for you. You will make each other feel good and secure by supporting each other emotionally. This is how the relationship in this story started. A single mother who worked hard to care for and raise her son, whose husband had died, met this handsome guy who was just the kind of partner she wanted. He was beautiful and intelligent, and it seemed he loved that lady's son as much as she loved him. Seeing the boy's immense love and support, to make herself completely available to care for the family, the woman left her job and devoted herself entirely to caring for her child and the boy. Taking advantage of the woman's love for himself, the guy started asking her to live with him away from people close to her. Now, he neither had a family nor a job. She was utterly dependent on that boy. Taking advantage of this, the boy started torturing her every day. And this was all a plan to take revenge on that girl for the boy's friend's past. He behaved with the woman so carefully that she did not even realize that he was not being loved but a game was being played with her. This is called dark psychology. And by the time she came to know, she was so lost in the boy's love that now she felt like the option of either staying with him or dying. She started feeling she no longer deserves to live with any other option. The following story is about control. You must have often heard the news that a Saram and some similar barber, claiming to be the messenger or incarnation of God, raped girls or killed a person in the name of sacrifice. They do this not for any god but for their benefit, and by using dark psychology, they say such things to people that will make their actions look good in the eyes of people. Both these cases are pretty severe, but the lesson is that these crimes were not such that they happened suddenly. These involved careful planning, in which the planner first prepared his victims and lulled them into a false state of trust and security before carrying out the attack. In reality, how these incidents occurred is reminiscent of a hunter and his prey. First, the prey is stalked and monitored. Then, based on the information received during the observation process, the hunter makes a move. This move is not to attack but to attract its prey. For example, an animal is put in a net to trap a lion, which the lion sees and gets trapped. This is how they are made to feel loved and cared for. In this, the hunter wears a mask and shows the qualities the victim likes based on the information he receives. Gradually, trust is established, and the next target is to make the prey dependent on the hunter. Be it financial dependency, emotional dependency, or spiritual dependency, everyone's methods are different, but the intention and result are the same. Gradually, the victim starts becoming dependent and starts feeling the need for that person or the thing that is being given to him. At the same time, in the greed of giving that thing, the hunter separates the victim from his safety net, where he can escape from their prey, and brings him to his desired place, after which he attacks. It will never seem like one of those crimes that you suspect or even remotely feel that something wrong will happen here. Instead, It will seem like a song and dance, which is fun to participate in, but gradually, this behavior makes the victim insecure, and he gets trapped in the hunter's trap. In this, you will realize only when the loss is happening or has already happened. To understand this entire concept of dark psychology and manipulation in detail, we will understand it through the book Dark Psychology, written by James W. Williams. And remember, you can use this book in different ways, either to avoid taking advantage of yourself or to take advantage of someone else. The choice is yours. Basics about dark psychology. Imagine receiving an invitation to a party that your relative organized. Because the party decorations and dinner were excellent, you start mentioning it to your friends. You tell your friend what a great party it was, man. The friend in front replies and says, "Who told you this is a great party? Don't you see how bad your relatives are? They didn't even look at you or try to talk once." You reply, "They may be busy." Then your friend says, "What kind of a relative is T? His brother who doesn't have even a little time for you." Your friend highlights this so much that this thought starts coming into your mind: maybe my clothes will not be good, and I am not as rich as these people, or maybe my relative will be proud of money. For this reason, he might have ignored you. You saw how a person can instigate you against his relatives in practical life. In this way, a person's perception of reality is confused, and a new thing is put into the mind that has nothing to do with reality. In the language of dark psychology, it is called gaslighting. The term gaslighting was derived from a lamp burning from a gas pipeline. In ancient times, a man used this technique to drive his wife crazy. A woman lived alone in a big house, and her husband went to work every night. One night, when his wife wakes up to drink water, she notices that the light in her bedroom has dimmed, which starts happening every night. She tells her husband that maybe someone came to our house last night. He covers the lights and disappears. But instead of understanding her words, the husband confuses her. He said, "There is nothing like that, this is your illusion. And it may also happen that you have lost your mind. Nowadays, you have started making useless stories. At the same time, I have always seen the light burning steadily." The woman became confused and gradually believed that some spirit or thief had come to her house. But he needs proof to prove this. But in the end, it was revealed that her husband used to come every night and secretly dim the lights so that he could confuse the wife and mentally disturb her. Now, the video will explain the difference between dark psychology and psychology. If you understand gaslighting, you will know who uses it and for what purpose. How is this technique used on you? What is the reason behind it, and what should you do to protect yourself? I can say with confidence that if you watch this video completely, you will be saved from living a life of slavery. Finally, I will tell you the names of 2 books with the help of which you can understand dark psychology deeply. We study human behavior, thought, and action in psychology, but dark psychology is used to manipulate, influence, and confuse you. Do you know that we become victims of these techniques daily? Society, politics, commercials, internet ads, managers, 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 selfish friends, and toxic life partners can be used against you. Hence, reading and understanding this subject becomes necessary. It should not be required that you get your work done by someone and get out to ruin it. Rather, this information should be used for self-defense so that your precious time, money, and life are not wasted. After watching this video, you will understand how the government, family, and organizations control you, so you follow their instructions and live your life according to their principles. Now, the question arises, why do these people do this? They do this so that they continue to benefit. Why do people use dark psychology or gaslighting? So the first reason is to control. Suppose your family gives you a bank account, but your elder brother says that you have kept an ATM nearby, but will you be able to manage the money? You will have to give an account of money every time, and your calculation could be more robust. If some problems arise, then you will have to make rounds of the bank. Due to this, your morale will start going down, and you will start doubting yourself, which will cause you to want to run away from the responsibility given to you. You will feel that, yes, I am not worthy of this work because I had lost money in the past, so my elder brother is better for this work. Then after this, your control goes to your brother. The second reason is to own self-esteem. Let's assume that a boy comes to the class topper and says, I don't have any friends in this class. Will you be friends with me? Then, he slowly takes her notes, disturbing her by sending her movie tickets and diverting her attention from her studies. At the same time, he keeps studying on time. Then, at exam time, he says, I was passing time, I have no interest in you. Now, the girl has not even studied and is sad about leaving. In such a situation, this boy comes and says, this time, you will not be able to become a topper. In this way, the girl's self-esteem goes down, and the gaslighter reduces her self-esteem by stopping her from becoming a topper. The third is power dynamic. My friend's relatives learned one thing about him. He was a boy who did not like to study but had been admitted to a college in Delhi. After knowing this, those toxic relatives start saying that because he is a village boy, it will be difficult for him to adjust to that place. If he wanted to study, he could look at his state, there is no need to go so far. This is how relatives bring down the morale of the person in front of them and want to retain control so that they name their son, and you are left behind. That means they use power dynamics. Fourth is emotional manipulation. Many government schemes are run before elections, and parties carry out such activities in their campaigns, making the public feel that this government is making sacrifices for their fellow citizens. For this, the government first needs to get something done that will arouse public anger. Due to this, when a crowd gathers, people get beaten by the police, blood flows due to the beating, and an emotional bond is formed between the politicians and the public by luring them to protect that blood. Then, they use this bonding for 5 years. After this, innocent and unknown people become victims of the corrupt government. Then, no matter how bad the government is, it does not ask them questions. Fifth is a defense mechanism. Let's say that a boss always tells you there is a shortage of jobs. It has to be tough to get jobs. The market situation has become very challenging. No matter how hard one tries, one will not be able to get a better job. The question is, why does your boss say this? Because they want people to stay with them. They want to make you work for a lower salary by creating self-doubt. If any of these 5 things have happened to you too, please let me know by commenting symptoms of dark psychology. After understanding these reasons, how will you know you are the target of gaslighting? A psychologist has explained how a gaslighter can make you a victim. First, dismissal and denial. Like a husband says to his wife, you don't have to go out without asking me. So the wife says, are you doubting me? Why do you want me to live like a slave? This means that if the wife likes to travel alone, she denies her husband's words by using the pretext of doubt, telling them she wants to make her husband a victim. Second, let us assume that your friend took a loan from you. But when it comes to returning the money, he says, brother, I replaced it with you. Is your memory weak? Don't you remember that time I had kept money in your bag? That means this is a person who is lying to his face. And thirdly, withhold information. Nowadays, the government makes full use of gaslighting. By feeding the money first, the government takes control of the media. Then, she targets a community and tells its history. But history tells half lies. They did many bad things to us and were cruel. Now that we are in power, we should take revenge on them. You need to get complete information about that community because the government shows half the truth as if this is the reality and its other side needs to be visible. Now, the question arises, what methods should people like you and me adopt to avoid these? We will discuss this in the end, but before that, you should understand how to recognize a victim of gaslighting. What are their symptoms? How can you know whether you are a victim of gaslighting or dark psychology? Number 1, if you start having self-doubt about your actions, work, and way of thinking, and you start wondering whether the work you have done till now was valid. Do I lie often? Am I worthless? I feel like I didn't deserve this. Number 2. If something wrong happens to someone, you are made responsible for it. For example, if something goes wrong with a girl, then her dress and nature are defamed. Number 3. You will need more self-confidence and be isolated from supportive people. At some point, you will start feeling like you are going crazy, and your mental capacity will start becoming weak. Today, gaslighting is used by societies, politicians, and organizations, and you and I live among these 3. This means this tactic may have been tried on you, but you were unaware. If something like this has happened to you, then mention your story related to it in the comments so that other people can learn a lesson. And if it has not happened, it may occur in the future. What steps should you follow at such a time? Psychologists have given 5 steps for this. First, let us assume you are watching an Indian cricket match and need 6 runs on 1 ball. But Virat Kohli gets out on that ball. So, a voice comes from within you. If I were in the field, I would not have let India lose. That is, at that time, so much confidence develops in your mind that you start talking about considering yourself better than Virat. That means there is an inner power within you in which you remain confident. Therefore, you should use inner power when gaslighters try to victimize you. Ask your conscience if I am saying the right thing, and by listening to the response of your inner voice, calm down the other person. Trust your inner voice or inner self. A lie is often so finely crafted that it begins to seem like the truth. But at an internal level, you can feel the imbalance between what should be, what is, and what is being presented to you. There may not be any physical signal to indicate something is wrong, but you feel that something is wrong. It feels easier to reject those emotions and go along with what you're being told at times like these. You may not want to do anything different after listening to that inner voice, or out of fear that people might start looking at you in the wrong light, you give up and ignore that inner voice. But later, it turns out that she was right. Trusting your voice takes practice over time. You start by training yourself on small and easy things. For example, when you leave home for the office in the morning, when you go down the stairs, you feel that you have forgotten something, then go inside the house and check once. If you suddenly think about someone and need to call him, then call him. Although these are small examples and may not have significant benefits, they build confidence in your inner self so that you can better understand what your inner voice can do when it needs direction. What she is saying, act on it. If you are already in such a situation and do not have time to train yourself to strengthen your voice's confidence, do not lose hope. Remember, like a mother, your inner voice always wants your good. And as long as you're alive, you have this guidance that wants to help you be happy and secure. In such a situation, try to understand what it is trying to say. In such a situation, ask the right questions and start with yourself. Try to figure out why you feel this way. Look at your present condition and discover why you are unhappy with how you feel now. Ask yourself why you think this way and see if you can get into more detail about your feelings. When we feel lost, feelings act as guidance. When you are not in a happy condition to get the answers you want, then look outside yourself. Looking outside yourself does not mean that you should expose yourself to the person who is playing the game of dark psychology with you. Take a different route to your defense than immediately, because you may give the hunter a chance to escape and make another move, which will cause your decision not to be as effective, and you may not get the desired results. Instead, connect with people you trust. Knowing that you're trying to deal with a situation in which people are betraying you, it can be not easy to decide who to trust suddenly. In such a situation, go to someone who has little or no personal connection with this matter. Someone who is not directly connected to you or the people involved. These people will be likelier to be honest with you and give you honest feedback. When you ask a question, the next important thing is to hear the answer. It may seem wild, to some extent, how you will start getting answers on your own. The reality is that this self-deception makes us selective about the answers we get. We tell ourselves we're listening, but we're only paying attention to the answers we want to hear rather than the answers we're getting. Authentic listening demands a delicate balance between detachment from emotions and steadfast engagement with reality. By untethering yourself from the sway of emotions, you create space to process incoming information through the lens of facts. Consider a scenario where betrayal blindsides you, discovering your girlfriend's infidelity. Instead of succumbing to emotional turmoil, approach the situation with a clear-eyed assessment of the evidence. Evaluate the pros and cons of continuing the relationship, weighing the benefits against the potential pitfalls. Alternatively, contemplate the prospect of solitude while awaiting a faithful partner, foreseeing the challenges that may arise and devising strategies to navigate them. Rash decisions fueled by emotion can exacerbate complexities, whereas a reasoned approach fosters clarity and resilience. It makes it very difficult to get rid of bad feelings by bringing all the feelings to the boil and surface. When faced with the truth, your illogical part wants you to ruin everything. Your anger can motivate you to take steps to help calm your feelings in the short term. But in the long term, you may regret them. So, I am not saying that you should ignore your feelings completely. I am saying that do not act based on those feelings now. Deal with the situation first and later with your feelings. Second, seek help from people who have supported you in the past. Their truthfulness, understanding, and intelligence are given as an example. If such people are not with you or you do not meet them, start consulting an excellent psychologist. Remember, it's better to go to someone who has repeatedly proven they have your best interests. Now that you have the information about who is manipulating you, do not try to create any trouble unnecessarily. Don't hold back from doing the right thing for yourself out of fear of what people will say. You don't have to prove anything to anyone except yourself. The world can think only what it wants to believe. Right now, your priority should be to come out of that situation and move forward in your life. If you can handle the problem yourself, then run it. Just keep in mind that whatever decision you take, its goal is to get you out of that trap, not to make other people feel good. Once you have the help you need, the next step is to confront the manipulator. I suggest that you choose the place for this yourself. Pick a niche that you know will give you an edge. For this, make some plans from your side to catch him carefully. If criminals are present in the cyber world who have cheated your money, then involve the police and related offices for help. Apart from this, many software and applications can recognize faces on popular social media sites like Instagram and Facebook, so try to use them to reveal their identity. Look for clues to his true identity in your conversations, and confront him only when you have enough evidence. Of course, you will eventually catch him after being with the officers. Still, if you try to do so before you have complete proof and identification of his identity, they may get wind of it, and it may take more time to catch him. When someone close to you is taking advantage of you using dark psychology, do things differently. If your life is in danger in any way, do not confront the person alone. In such relationships, the best approach is to avoid arguments alone wholly. If you have to meet, make sure you don't go alone. Inform the people caring for you that at least one person should be present with you during the meeting because security is your first need. After confronting the manipulator and taking the necessary steps to avoid it, immediately start doing something so he can never manipulate you again. How much you've been hurt, used, or misbehaved doesn't matter. Don't hold on to it, but move on and give yourself some time to heal your wounds from that betrayal. It is a fact that emotional pains rarely heal. If you don't do anything about it, these pains can form a nasty scab like other wounds, making the memory as painful for you as it was when it was happening to you. So, talk to a counselor, go for therapy, and do whatever you can to improve your mood. Although it won't happen overnight, by consistently taking these steps every day, you will free yourself from old pain and put yourself in a position never to be deceived again. In the crucible of adversity, greatness often emerges, and within the pages of books lie the blueprints for triumph. Take solace in literature, for it holds the keys to navigating through life's trials. Step away from the relentless grind, granting yourself the gift of time, a week, a month, perhaps even a year, to break free from the shackles of routine and peer through the veil of societal norms. As you detach from the system, clarity dawns, revealing the intricate dance of manipulation that feeds egos and serves self-interests. Keep vigilance by documenting those who wield the tools of gaslighting, and maintain a prudent distance. Arm yourself with knowledge of dark psychology, for it is the beacon that guides you through the darkest of nights. When the world turns its back, your wisdom shall stand as an unwavering pillar of strength, leading you along the path of truth amidst the chaos of deceit. In the absence of knowledge, one is but a ship adrift, at the mercy of treacherous currents. Thank you for watching our video.